Since the old Medford High School closed its doors in 1969, Chevalier Auditorium has been under constant threat of demolition. In August of 1981, a committee was formed to preserve this unique building, which was named after one of Medford's military heroes, Godfrey D. Chevalier. The battle to restore Chevalier Auditorium hasn't been an easy one, and what we are about to bring you in this program is a victory. Not a military victory, but a humanitarian one. On August 23, 1986, Governor Michael Dukakis presented the Honorable Mayor Marilyn Perica with a letter stating that $2 million has been granted for the restoration of Chevalier, and hopefully this will become a major vehicle for the performing arts in Medford and other communities.
I've been asked many times what I felt about Chevalier and the money that we are looking for, and feeling is that I fell in love with Chevalier about 5 years ago. Walked in at the place and said, this place has got to be saved. Along with the other commissioners, we just sat down and wrote out proposals and submitted them to the state for the first funding. With the intention of getting this place open. At that time was in '87. But at the moment it doesn't seem that way, but we're still trying. In about 1981, we had been awaiting this first grant to get started, what we call Phase 1. And it was getting very close. King was leaving office the end of December, and it was sort of like, you know, let's hurry up and get this going before he leaves. It was, and I remember very well, it was the day before Christmas when I got a knock on the door, and it was Jack McGlynn waving this letter frantically in my face and saying, we got it, we got it, we got it. And of course, that was the best Christmas gift I think the commissioners got that year. Along with, of course, Marauder and McGlynn worked very, very hard on this with Governor King. But we started working in January, the first meeting we could get. We sat there and decided how we were going to spend $495,000, and of course 5 people knew exactly how they were going to spend it.
How do I feel about Chevalier Auditorium being restored? I think it's great, and I think it's probably one of the biggest drawing cards that Medford Square will have in a long time. Actually, I was here at opening night. The first show that was done here was not a school function. It was a minstrel show put on by St. Joseph's Church. I was 16 years old at the time, a sophomore in high school, and Mr. Leslie Carey, who was head of the English department, was in charge of the theater at that time. I worked with him on that show. On opening night, I was running the switchboard for him, and I stood on a milk crate to reach the top switches on the switchboard. Probably the biggest thrill of my life. The second show that was done here was done by the M Club of Medford High, and they put on the show The Wizard of Oz. And oddly enough, one of our mystic players, actually he's in this, the current production, played the part of the Tin Man in The Wizard of Oz, and that's Mr. Cassione.
How do I feel about Chevalier Auditorium being restored? I'm ecstatic. I'm delighted. I just think it's going to be one of the greatest boosts to the city of Medford that we've had in many, many years. Chevalier is very, very special to me. I attended Medford High School at the Forest Street location, and we had many programs. Our class day program and other exercises were held in Chevalier Auditorium. I sang in the all-girl choir while I was a student at Medford High School from the stage of Chevalier Auditorium. Chevalier is special. It's part of my past, and I'm looking forward to having it part of not only my future, but the future of the city of Medford. The question is there something or some event of particular importance to me concerning Chevalier Auditorium? Well, I was very fortunate in being actively involved in politics from the time I was a very little girl. And my late father was a state representative for many, many years. And I can remember back in the late 40s, a rally when the Vice President of the United States, Alvin Barkley, was present at a rally at Chevalier Auditorium sponsored by the city's Democratic Committee. I can also remember John Kennedy being present at a political function at Chevalier Auditorium, and the late Robert Kennedy as well. These mixed with the good times that we had as high school students and the things that we did as students at the high school only spurred my interest in having Chevalier remain as a very important part of our community. When the development was first discussed and when the sale of Medford High School was first discussed, one of the proposals, or several of the proposals, included tearing down Chevalier Auditorium or giving Chevalier to the developer as part of their development team. I fought vigorously on the City Council to have Chevalier remain in the hands of the City of Medford because I felt it was part of Medford, a part of history that could never be replaced. And I think by receiving this money to restore Chevalier to the beauty and the dignity that it once held, it's important pieces of, or actually the most important contribution the city has ever received from the state. And I think all of us working together can make not only Chevalier a better place for all of us, but a better downtown Medford Square. This is our city. We have to learn to respect the things that meant so much in the history of our city. Chevalier is one of those things, and I think all of us working together are making it happen. No one has done this alone. I take particular pride in the work that the Auditorium Commission has done, the Mystic Players, and so many other groups. The Historical Commission fought vigorously to keep the building as part of our city's heritage. So I think it's just a combined effort of so many people working together for one reason, and that's to keep Medford's history intact.
This is the original fire alarm panel. It was completely rebuilt, brought up to date with a few new modules added for fan controls for the heating and ventilating system and the dimmer bypass system, which would bring the house lights on in the event of a fire during a performance automatically. It's city connected through a master box. Everything is fully supervised, and all of the smoke detectors, heat detectors, manual stations, and the sprinkler system are connected to this, so that an activation of any of those, or sprinkler head, will sound an alarm and summon the fire department automatically. Our first grant was to restore all of the utilities in this building. And among those, of course, was the new electric service, which was brought in underground. It's a three-phase, four-wire, approximately 2,400 amps to service the building. And this is the main entrance panel with the main disconnects for electric, for lighting, power, and air conditioning. Here we are in Gene Mack Gym, which is directly below the theater. And this gym was named for Eugene McGillicuddy, a longtime resident of the city of Medford and a very noted sports cartoonist for the Boston Globe. With our first grant, we restored all of the utilities in this building, which of course included the new electric service and new water service, the plumbing, and the heating and ventilating systems, as well as 2 new boilers and a 10,000-gallon oil tank, which is buried outside in the parking lot. We also installed a complete fire detection system and the sprinkler system as required by the codes. With the grant that we're now seeking from the state through Governor Dukakis and Senator Albano and Representatives McGlynn and Murata, we hope to restore this gym to its original condition so that all of the sports activities that had taken place can be resumed here, along with dances, banquets, and other exhibits and civic functions. Dimensions of this stage are a little different from the ordinary stage in that this is an elliptical theater and the stage is concave. However, the width of the proscenium is 45 feet and the height of the proscenium is approximately 20 feet. And the depth of the stage at its shallowest point, which would be center stage, is 38 feet to the rear wall. As you proceed towards the wings, then the stage gets deeper.
Well, it's been a while now that we sent that proposal in, and sitting here waiting month in and month out as to what's going on. Some days we hear that, oh, it looks great, chances are great, you know. Next time around say, well, don't know, there doesn't seem to be any money in the coffer, so to speak of. The only thing that we figure we could do at this point is to start to try to get someone from the Senate. We had Marauder and McGlynn working on it from the House of Representatives. So we decided to go to Sal Albano and see what he could do for us. He showed up at a meeting, not knowing what it is we were doing or what we had here. And he asked lots of questions, and I think maybe our enthusiasm, you know, sort of got to him. Then he took a tour of the building, and he decided that Chevalier has to be saved. So we had somebody else on our side. We're waiting here about to hear maybe May, he said, and then well, maybe June. And the office, we kept in close touch with his office, almost maybe on a weekly basis. We heard about there'd be maybe sometime in August. So we sit here waiting, hopefully, you know, that this is going to happen. This is going to be it.
We certainly have a beautiful day for the city of Medford, not only weather-wise, but it's always a good day when the governor comes to present an award of $2 million, especially for the restoration of this beautiful edifice that is going to make Medford Square, put Medford Square back on the map again. My two colleagues who represent the district were very supportive of this effort, and without their help, this project would not have happened. So I'd like to introduce Mike McGlynn to say a few words.
Thank you, Sal. First of all, I heard the governor invite everyone to go to the beach earlier. Well, one of his supporters just dropped off 2,000 Dukakis pamphlets at my house. I'm wondering who's going to help me distribute them if he's having everyone go to the beach. You know, Cousin Marilyn talked about the optimism surrounding Chevalier Auditorium. I was here in 1981 when Jerry Grandy first started calling. Sal, you've talked to her every day this year. I've talked to her every day for the last 5 years. And Jerry's a very persistent person who's worked very well with the Mystic Players and the Commission to have the optimism surrounding this program to get it off the ground 5 years ago. And with the first grant that we received through the efforts of myself and Representative Marauder at the time, we had the original study plans, which brings us to today's reality. And hopefully in a year and a half, as the governor talked, he said that this would create for us the economic revitalization of the downtown area. And that's what we're all concerned with, along with the fact that we want to keep the arts thriving in Medford, the arts that have a long and proud history in our city. And I'm very happy to be a part of this, and I had a pleasure working with Senator Albano and Governor Dukakis, Mayor Parika, Representative Marauder, and hopefully in a year and a half, Angie Marauder will be down here playing the part of Gene Kelly in Dancing in the Rain. Thank you.
And the other half of that dynamic duo is Angelo Marauder, and I'd like to...
Thank you, Senator Albano. And once again, I have to thank the governor, Governor Dukakis, for coming to the aid of the city of Medford. It's been fantastic since I've been in office. I thank him, and once again, I'll thank him for the $1 million he gave to our school system and our city. I think it was about a year or so, or 2 years ago. Governor, thank you for that. And today I have to thank him again for giving us another $2 million. And I think I'll also thank him for the other $500,000 he gave to keep this thing going. Governor, you've been great to the city of Medford. You've been great to the Commonwealth. Thank you very much.
And that as we build the kind of future for Massachusetts, which I think Franklin Roosevelt would have enjoyed, because so much of what we've done in this state over the past few years is taken from his legacy. I think he would be very proud of the fact that this building, which he helped to build and to complete in 1940, is going to be restored and rebuilt and is going to once again become a center for the arts, for entertainment, for community activities of all kinds, right here in the center of Medford. Without further ado, it's my great pleasure and honor to present to Marilyn, on behalf of the city of Medford, a letter signed, at least it looks as if it's signed by Frank Keefe. Frank Keefe, who's my Secretary of Administration and Finance, folks, has the most unreadable signature in America. Does that say Frank Keefe?
Yes, it does. XXX.
Looks like some form of hieroglyphics, but believe me, it's Keefe. Is he here?
I haven't seen him. I haven't seen him.
But in any event, a letter, Marilyn, to you, which reads as follows. I'm pleased to inform you that the City of Medford's request for $2 million of Civic Center Auditorium grant funds for the, do you pronounce it Chevalier?
Chevalier.
Chevalier Auditorium has been approved. Senator Albano was of great assistance to me in explaining the worthiness of the Chevalier project and its importance to the City of Medford. It is my belief that the auditorium's rehabilitation will result in a first-class facility for the performing arts. Congratulations and best wishes. Signed, Frank Keith, Secretary of Administration.
That's great.
How do I feel about the $2 million grant? I feel great. The grant is a dream come true to a lot of people, all the commissioners and many, many people in Medford.
You know, this paper given to me by Governor Dukakis at the ceremonies held on the steps of Chevalier signifies a partnership composed of Governor Dukakis, Senator Albano, our representatives, members of the City Council, and so many, many people who have worked so hard to get us this far. So this is $2 million. I don't think I've ever held $2 million in my hand before, but this is what it is.
How do I feel about this $2 million? What can I say? Applause. Sitting here, just sort of fooling around at this piano, I sort of envision exactly what this place is going to be. Orchestra pit filled with musicians, the audience seated out here, performers on stage. And this is all thanks to, of course, Representatives McGlynn and Murata, Senator Albano, and of course Governor Dukakis for making this dream come true. This is what it's all about. This is what we have been working for. And let me tell you something, it has been worth it.